ISIS continues to create havoc in Iraq. But my next guest says the terrorist groups are a bunch of thugs that don't scare him. Retired Army Staff Sergeant Shiloh Harris was wounded in Iraq in February of 2007 when the vehicle he was traveling in was struck by an IED. The blast killed 3 soldiers and left Harris with third-degree burns over 35% of his body. He lost his ears, the tip of his nose, 3 of his fingers, and he sustained fractures to his left collarbone and C7 vertebrae. He tells his story in the new book, Steel Will. Shiloh Harris joins me now. Shiloh, it's an honor to have you here. You have been through nothing short of a living hell. I mean, 60-plus surgeries, reconstruction after this accident back in 2007. Do you remember much about the day itself or the blast?
What I remember is waking up in the front passenger position, which is the truck commander's position, and I tried to call up a radio report. The hand mic cable was just burnt plumb off, so I knew that, you know, it was pretty bad. Well, I knew that I needed to get out of the vehicle next because the truck was on fire. But as I was pushing on the door, I couldn't get the door to move because what happened is the IED went off almost directly beneath the vehicle, lifted the vehicle in the air, and when it came back down, that door embedded in that asphalt and loose dirt from the IED. So I was pushing against this, you know, 400 or 500 pound door, and I don't know the exact weight, but you know, they're real heavy because they got those big plates on them, and it's embedded in that dirt. And this is where I know there had to be divine intervention. I know that God had to help me out of that vehicle because there shouldn't have been any way I get out on my own accord and my own energy.
When I think about all the surgeries you've had and how many different times you've gone through that over 3 years just in the hospital, constantly in the hospital, was there a time, Shiloh, that you just sort of said, I'm ready to give up. I just can't do this anymore?
We had been through so many ups and downs. I mean, it was a roller coaster. You know, I'd go through a surgery and then I'd have to heal. And then I'd heal and I'd get to feeling pretty good and then I'd have to go through another surgery. And then it was like I was right back down, you know, at the bottom again, having to work my way back up physically. And I just woke up one day and I told my wife, I was like, I'm done. I was like, I can't do this, you know. I said, I think we've done pretty good. I feel like the Humpty Dumpty and Humpty Dumpty story, you know. But the King's Men did have a good effort on putting me back together. I even got some really cool ears now. So, you know.
You can take them off and say, lend me an ear. Good. You really can do it, right?
I mean, I think we've done real good. So most everything now is elective. With burns usually comes maintenance for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm never really out of surgery or out in the clear, but I think I've done really well, and that 3-year mark was my point, you know.
What got you through it? What was it that kept you going? Because I think a lot of people after that many just tough moments would have said, I can't do it. What was the motivation inside of you, Shiloh?
I'll tell you, first of all, you know, I knew that God had a plan. It was really a bitter pill to swallow, knowing that I lost 3 soldiers. You know, those guys are the real heroes, and every other service member that we lost in combat. I've been blessed in so many ways. I have the most beautiful, wonderful wife. I've got 5 beautiful children and a beautiful granddaughter. And there's not a day go by that I don't count my blessings. So I had a lot to live for. Sometimes I just had to really find it and push forward to it again. But I have a lot of blessings.
Well, you certainly do. And, you know, when I look back on the fact that you paid so much of a price, personally and with your friends, when you see what's happening in Iraq today, do you feel like that we've made some big mistakes in not staying there to get the job done? Did we pull out too soon?
Honestly, yes. There was a lot of service members that talked to me, knowing, you know, what I do, and you know, a lot of people talk to me just because they trust me. They know that I've been through it. So in a way, my scars come with its validity that I've been there, done that. And you know, I can tell you that there's a lot of veterans that are just disgusted because we didn't get to finish the job. But more importantly, they feel like we abandoned the Iraqi people. They felt like we abandoned those men and women that was very proud to have us there. I used to have Christians come up and hide their crosses, but they'd show me their cross and say, thank you. Thank you for coming here to help me. And, you know, we was there to help the entire population, and it wasn't a Christian war or a religious war. But that's certainly what we're facing now. we're certainly facing a religious war, and I think that they believe Christians are weak. But the truth is, you know, you said that I'm tough and I was raised a warrior. I'm 100% American badass, and I am very proud to have served my nation.
Shiloh, I don't think you'll ever have to validate your patriotism or your courage. I guess I'm just wondering, veterans like you who have paid such a high price, if you could tell the leadership of our country, military, political, diplomatic, could give them just a little piece of your mind, what would you say to them that we ought to be doing, that you wish that we were doing differently with the Middle East?
Well, and clearly, you know, this is above my pay grade, but, you know, I really see that, you know, NATO is making an effort. You know, they're you know, doing this spearhead is what they call it, but you know, we should have had boots on the ground months ago. You know, the 2 journalists that was beheaded, that was a direct attack on our nation. Of course, they're saying all Western countries, but they're mostly pointing at us. They have made direct threats to us from day one, and we should have had boots on the ground a long time ago to meet this head on. I mean, so if I'm telling anybody anything, we need boots on the ground right now, and we should have had boots on the ground months ago.
Well, I don't know if they're listening to you, but I'm listening to you. And by the way, your book was such an inspiration. I hope people will get it and they'll be reminded of the incredible courage that people like you and so many of your brothers in battle have faced. Shiloh, God bless you. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the president's job performance in his second term has left Americans seriously questioning his leadership. Has given Republicans a golden opportunity to take advantage in the midterms. But will the GOP capitalize or cannibalize their chance? I'm going to ask former Bill Clinton advisor James Carville when we come back.